The day Aurora Croft won the Global Philanthropist of the Year award was the day my doctors told me my time was up. I couldn't afford another artificial heart. On television, the host asked Aurora to call the person she had the most regrets about. Without a moment's hesitation, she dialed my number. I answered, and her voice, cool and distant, came through the speaker. Do you ever regret leaving me for money all those years ago? I glanced at the mountain of bills for the heart transplant I couldn't afford and let out a soft, hollow laugh. Aurora, you're so rich now. How about you lend me, say, $30,000? The line went dead. On the screen, I watched Aurora turn back to the host, her expression like ice. I have no regrets. She had no idea. When her heart was failing, I was the one who secretly gave her mine. After the live broadcast ended, a transfer for $30,000 hit my account. I stared at my phone for a long moment, a complicated knot tightening in my chest. I paid the medical bills. As I settled back into my hospital bed, I heard a familiar voice drift in from the hallway. I peeked through the crack in the door and saw her. Aurora. 7 years, and it was as if time hadn't touched her. She was still as radiant and captivating as ever. The only thing that had changed was the person by her side. It wasn't me anymore. The awards gala had just ended, and she hadn't even had time to change, rushing straight to the hospital. All because her new boy toy had a minor stomachache. I watched as she cradled Chase's head in her arms, her touch so tender. I lowered my gaze, about to quietly shut the door and pretend I hadn't seen anything. Suddenly the door was yanked open. Flinched, my head snapping up to meet her gaze. Her eyes, sharp and cold as shards of ice, swept over me. It's been a while, she said, her voice dripping with frost. Aren't you going to say hello? I looked at her, my lips parting. 1,000 words crowded my throat, but they all boiled down to one thing. Aurora, can you lend me another 50,000? She froze for a second, a flicker of raw anger igniting in her cold eyes. She grabbed my hand, her grip surprisingly strong. 7 years, Silas, this is all you have to say to me. The dense cluster of needle marks on my wrist throbbed with a dull, persistent pain. I took a deep breath. Ms. Croft, you're a very wealthy woman. If I didn't ask for money, I was afraid your boyfriend might get the wrong idea. A look of confusion, something complex and unreadable, flickered across her face. Before she could speak, Chase tightened his grip on her arm. Darling, is this your ex-husband? He asked, his tone dripping with pity as he looked me over. What can you even do with 50,000? Aurora bought me a suit that cost more than that. He sighed dramatically. It's a shame, Silas, you didn't know how to appreciate her. If you hadn't heartlessly abandoned her, I never would have had the chance to meet her. I said nothing, my mind drifting back. I met Aurora in college. We fell in love, and for 5 years, we were inseparable. Back then, she wasn't a billionaire CEO, and my body wasn't this fragile wreck. We were just 2 orphans, 2 broke students who had finally found the one person who mattered most in the world. We worked ourselves to the bone, dreaming of building a small home of our own. Just as our small business was starting to take off, Aurora was diagnosed with severe heart failure. The treatment and transplant would cost a fortune. We drained every penny of our savings. To keep following the story, head to my homepage for the rest. Don't miss out.